Hi there, welcome back on the channel. As you can see, we have another Audi today. And yeah, it's sort of a more common model. It's the Q3 from 2025 actually. And this one has done only 200 kilometers until now. Yeah, I know. This one is actually a brand new car, having done about 200 kilometers until now, as I said. And it's not my typical review with a used car actually, but considering that the model is out for some time already and it has been tested and reviewed by some other journalists until now, I think it could appear here on the channel as a reviewed car. Anyway, let's talk about the configuration for a moment. We have the 40 TFSI quattro configuration with an automatic double clutch actually gearbox with 7 gears. The quattro system is Haldex based, and the overall engine it's actually 2 liter with 190 horsepower and about 320 Newton meters. To finish off the specs, we have a limited top speed of around 220 kilometers per hour, and the sprint happens in about 7.3 seconds from 0 to 100. The weight of the car tips the scale at around 1.6 tons, and the consumption, which is more relevant than the performance stats in my opinion on this class of vehicles, this one actually shows almost 11 liters per 100 kilometers, but that's a city consumption. As for the past 200 kilometers, it has been driven only inside the city. Most likely after 1,500, maybe 2,000 kilometers, you will actually see the real consumptions of the engine. It's more inclined to be fuel efficient than performance in this configuration. Now let's check out one of the most important features of this car, which is the trunk area, because it's supposed to be quite a family-friendly small SUV, pseudo SUV actually, in my opinion. Maybe as a second car for the lady of the family, I don't know. As you can see, we have the usual carry-on luggage, and I think you could squeeze about 5 of them in here with some spare space. You do have some pockets on either side of the trunk area with some hooks for groceries, and actually this one does have a false boot floor, so you could potentially get a bit more space out of it. And also we have the subwoofer and the spare tire in here, which is nice. Let's check out the back seats. Even though it's quite a small to compact SUV, or pseudo SUV as I said, crossover, we do have sort of a soft material up here, even in the back, even softer on the armrest. We have some decor elements with ambient lighting, some storage space in here, some storage space on here, a couple of vents, a couple of USB-Cs here in the back with a 12-volt outlet as well, and some light fixtures in the ceiling. Oh, and also we have a central armrest, which does houses an interesting cup holder, which is adaptive. Nice, that's actually quite nice. So this is the space back here. As you can see, it's a tight fit. No, I'm just joking. I wanted to show you this feature. You can actually slide the rear bench, only this right side of the bench or the left side with the middle part, and yeah, if you slide it back, so you can sacrifice the trunk area to say so, you have more than enough space back here, something like a palm of space for my knees, more than enough headroom actually, and yeah, I can stretch my legs. Unfortunately, the same issue with the bench, which is a bit short for my taste. But other than that, yeah, the materials feel nice and the space is more than enough. Moving forward with the interior, because I will show you how you can get the most of the trunk area, but later on I'm gonna overlap some footage of the trunk area with the bench in the most forward position. But as I said, continuing with the interior, we have the same material actually in here, like on the door card in the back, as is for the armrest, the same decor element and some storage space in here. The seat itself, it's an S-Line, which in my opinion looks pretty good. We do get just manual adjustment, but at least we can adjust this part as well. We also have a small cubby in here, and the lumbar is on 4-way adjustment and it's electrical. Plus we have an extension for the base, which is always nice to see. The door closing sound, it's on par with the class with premium vehicle. Does sound quite nice actually. The seats are relatively body hugging, which is nice. Once again, you do get about 2 fingers of space for your knees. And yeah, although in the back we have not enough under thigh support, here we do get it, but we don't get padded material here on the center console, which in a way it's not necessarily a problem because you don't necessarily rest your knee on it. Oh, and also the glove box is covered and it's actually quite deep, which is nice. At last, on the driver's side, obviously we have some additional controls for the electric windows, outside mirrors, locking and unlocking of the doors, and the ability to open the trunk area. On the left side of the steering wheel we have the light controls and a small cubby actually, which is covered. Nice. And here the seat does have electrical adjustment all the way. Let me just take a seat inside. And actually I should also start the car. This is the view of the driver, because we do have the S-Line configuration. We have an interesting steering wheel with the old logo, which is way nicer than the newer one, at least. With the S badge here, physical controls of the steering wheel. You can control the gauge cluster from the left side and the infotainment screen on the right side. The cruise control, it's adaptive and it's on this stock. We have on the light stocks the ability to activate or deactivate the lane assist, which is a good idea to have to have it right there. And on the right side, the wipers. You control the wipers. We don't have flappy paddle gearbox here, but come on. It's not necessarily a car for something like that. The gauge cluster is typical Audi. I do like it. You don't get that glare in real life. The contrast, it's actually amazing. You can switch the view, you can put the map inside there, and you also see the consumption of the car. And also you can personalize the look of the gauge cluster. We have something like 3 settings for it. Going further with the interior, we have the light fixture, a dimmable frameless mirror, the infotainment screen, which most of you already know. It's not amazing, but at least it does respond fairly quickly. And we have, physical controls for the climate unit. Always nice to see. The start stop engine button and the volume rocker on this weird plastic bit anyway. Then we have some physical controls as well. For your drive select, the stability program, startup, hazard lights, and the parking sensors. Then we have a wireless charger for your phone, a couple of USB-Cs, the gear selector, which is unnecessarily large to be honest, but anyway, the parking brake, the auto hold function is right here, a 12-volt outlet, a small space for your key, which I'm not really able to show you. It does have a small rubber pad only for it, which is again nice to see. A couple of cup holders that are adjustable, and inside the armrest you do get some additional space. Welcome to the driving part of the review, today with the Q3. And I've been driving the car for a moment. I'm setting up my first impressions, and I will do a sprint with it, the usual one, going back into this stretch of road from 20-30 kilometers per hour until 100, but with a small caveat, and I'll talk more about it when we get there. After I'll do the sprint actually, because it's quite near us. But as I said, for my first impressions, yeah, it's alright. It's an alright vehicle for the most part. It's easy to operate. The pedals, the controls are logically laid out. The steering feel is very light in typical Audi fashion. The gearbox is almost non-existent, which it's a good thing in my opinion. The suspension, it's alright for the most part, but maybe it helps that the vehicle that I'm testing only has 18 inches in terms of wheels. So yeah, it does help, but from time to time it does feel a bit rough, to be honest, but I'll explain more a bit later. Let's see the sprint. That was it. And let me switch back to comfort. Yeah, I had something to mention about the sprint. Considering that the car has only done now 300 kilometers, I was not really able to push it to go until 6 or 6,500 RPMs, where is the red line, because I don't feel it's right. It's not necessarily run-in, the engine, the gearbox, so I had to make do with something around 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs, which means obviously the car was a lot slower than it would otherwise be. But as I said on the static review, it's not necessarily a car for performance, for high speeds or anything like that. The noise levels are good, but they're not extraordinary, so again, doesn't necessarily encourage you to drive fast or to maintain a higher speed. The same can be said about the engine. It's most likely set up to be efficient, not necessarily a performer, and it shows even in the sound that the unit makes. Older 2-liter TFSI engines were more fruitier to say in this manner, in terms of the sound that they produce. But going back to the suspension, as I said, for the most part, it's alright. It's a comfortable car, but on some small indentations or potholes, like that one, it tends to get a bit rough. And obviously, that has to do with the fact that it's a crossover pseudo SUV. It's a bit taller, and it does need an overall harsher suspension compared with some similar model like the A3. So yeah, those are my first impressions. I do want to point out some of the things that I enjoyed and some of the things that I'm not necessarily a fan of. The first, I'll start with the positives, because it's an Audi. I mean, it's something like a universal recipe in regards to this brand. The seats, at least, are very comfortable, even though we are in one of the smallest vehicles from Audi, but even so, I do enjoy them quite a lot. The steering wheel, once again, I like it. It's the old steering wheel, which was absolutely fine, in my opinion, compared with newer designs from Audi. But yeah, it's the overall feeling of the car, the controls. It's a premium car, and it's pleasant to be inside it. And considering the outside dimensions, it's actually quite a useful amount of space back there. You saw the way that you could play with the rear bench, the amount of space that you get in the trunk area. It's actually quite useful, in my opinion. And yeah, as I said, for the most part, I enjoyed driving the car, but there are a couple of things that I'm not necessarily a fan of. Even though the piano black inside the car is kept to a minimum, and on places that you will otherwise not touch, and you still get physical buttons with the same clicking sound that Audi used us with. There are a couple of places lower down on the door card or in here in the central console that I'm not necessarily a fan of. On the other hand, I mean, come on, I understand. Nowadays, all of the manufacturers are doing things like this. So, yeah, it is what it is. On some aspects, you really feel that it is a premium vehicle from a premium manufacturer, especially if you look at the options list. On this class of vehicle, to have electric tailgate, adaptive cruise control, auto hold, I don't know, ambient lighting, and what else it's in here. It shows that it is a premium car. But on the other hand, as I said, the materials on some places, the fact that you don't get keyless entry on the rear handles, only on the front one, it's a bit weird. It's not something to be expected in a premium car. They, compared with some other brand from the VW group, they managed to put a second button on the trunk lid, one where you can just close the trunk lid, and one where you can close it and lock the car in the same time, which is something that I was missing on my VW Passat or on some other models like the Skoda Enyaq. Audi is the only manufacturer from the VW group that does something like that. Well, I'm not talking about Bentleys, you know. The only one compared with VW, Skoda, or Seat or Cupra. So, yeah, at this price point, I mean, come on. How much would have been to have some additional control for the keyless system on the rear doors? So, yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. And actually, that's the overall feel in terms of the comparison that you can make between this exact model and something from Skoda or Volkswagen or Cupra. Probably this one could compare with the Formentor, maybe the Skoda Karoq, and probably the VW T-Roc. I don't think it's on the same class with the Tiguan, but anyway, you get the point. If you look at larger vehicles from Audi, from A6 and above, you really feel that it's a premium car, premium manufacturer. It does have some features that are not available on the, I don't know, the VW Passat or the Skoda Superb. You have larger engines, you have air suspension, things like that, soft close on the doors and what have you. But here on the smaller vehicles, nowadays they tend to share most of the parts, and that makes the whole experience similar. I mean, I know it's not necessarily relevant, this example, but if you pop up the trunk, the bonnet, you will see the same cover over the engine without any branding. It's something that they used to do back in the days, but nowadays is the same cover with a black plastic, regardless of the model that you go for. And yeah, it shows that it's cost cutting. And for the most part, you could be left wondering, why would you go for this one? Just because it says Audi here, or the logo is from Audi, and why not go for the Formentor from Cupra, or the VW, or the Skoda? That's actually one of the things that I'm not necessarily a fan on, that I'm not enjoying in a way with this vehicle, because I know that it's still quite a pricey one at around 50 to 60,000 euros. I mean, come on, they could have done better, I think. Anyway, switching to the maintenance part of the review, considering that we have a petrol engine, you should probably just replace the oil and filters at around 10,000 kilometers. Lower that interval to about 7.5 if you're using the car inside the city, or pump it up to about 12, or I don't know, maybe 15,000 kilometers if you're using the car outside the city. But I would not go further than that. In regards to the gearbox or the all-wheel drive system, and actually the spark plugs as well, you should maintain them or replace them at around 50,000 kilometers. That's pretty much it, to be honest, because in terms of suspension, wheels, or tires, I mean, or brakes, you're gonna be more than fine for a long time, because It's not necessarily a heavy vehicle, and it's definitely not one of the vehicles that encourages you to drive fast or to enjoy driving on a twisty piece of road. So yeah, those are negligible. And also the overall running costs, I mean, look at the thing. At nearly 200 horsepower, I'm averaging 5.9 liters. I know, outside the city, going out on a constant speed, but even so, for a modern engine, it's more than fine. It's on par with its competitors. And it begs the question once again, why would you still go for a diesel if this one is quite efficient? Anyway, pretty much I think that that could be it. I'll wrap up the review. My conclusion is that yeah, it's a nice vehicle. I do enjoy riding in it, but it's not necessarily for me. I would prefer something a bit larger. But nowadays, for a lady, I mean, it's the ideal car in my opinion. They do tend to be a fan of crossovers and pseudo SUVs, so yeah, why not? It's compact enough for parking inside the city, but large enough to take the kids to go grocery shopping, so yeah, it's an ideal compromise in that regard. So that was it. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel actually. You could also leave your impressions in the comment section, and until next time, thank you for watching.